All right, it's gonna be kind of a long one. It's kind of a big property, but this is a QC audit for 32538 Ashford Park. This is an asphalt job, full depth, grind and repave, done by Corey on the May 13th, 15th, and 17th. And then the curb was done by Brendan on May 22nd. So I'm at the middle. There's kind of three fingers to this, one down below that I'll show. That one's on a hill, and then one up above at the top, and that's kind of got some flat spots. Already went and kind of looked over everything. There's an invert in the middle, and for this finger and the lower part, it screams to the middle and flies down. The flow is awesome. You can really see it. And it's a little bit wet. I think they ran sprinklers this morning, so you can definitely tell what's going on with flow, which is really nice. And then it looks like we probably had two different loads of curb mix. If not, maybe one of them up at the top you'll see. We kind of got some drag marks and some weird stuff. These sections of curb look awesome. They're really straight, really clean. Even 45s on either side. And they look really good. I'll get to the stuff up top in a minute. So you can tell this drain's already flipped. A little end piece of curb right there. And they got water running in off the garages good, as you can see by the wet marks in the middle. There was one spot that has kind of a little tight flow up at the top area. There's maybe a 4-inch little hang up of water before it goes, but then it does go. And I think as the asphalt surface tension breaks down a little bit, I think it'll be good. This is a really nice looking radius, by the way, from the curb crew. Kind of got these weird looping. That one looks really good. Here's that first section that goes out to the road. I'm not gonna walk all the way down there. Looks great. There's a bunch of iron. You can tell we had to do handwork around a bunch of iron out here. And but we kept our invert to the middle, and it's just screaming down the flow line to all the drains. There's a bunch of drains. There's 2 different catch basins right there, and then one right past it. And then these middle brick patterns that they have. But as far as flow and tie-ins to everything, did a really great job out here. Everything's flush, running away from the garages. There doesn't seem to be, with all of them that I've checked so far, there doesn't seem to be any lip holding water in on the garages, which is really good. Parking stalls tie into their walkways. Ooh, this is one in front of 17811. This is one just looking at it. It does look like we have a little hump here from the asphalt to the garage. I don't know how we would have honestly carved that corner down to come out. So I'll talk with Kevin about that. That might be something we need to address. Seams between days, pretty good tie-in. Little over the top here. Looks a little scratchy. Looks like we just didn't find our edge just on this pass a little bit, but this one looks really nice. The rest of this looks pretty good, tying in. This is a really sandy mix, so you can kind of see some drag marks with the paver a little bit, some scrape marks a little bit, but it feels a lot better than that's looking. Here's transition to a different day, which we didn't tar these. If we end up coming back out, might not be a bad idea to tar these. But this is the area that's really tight. Super tight up here on the top. And you can tell the water's just barely moving. Kind of squirrels through right here. Runs a little off a flow line. You can tell water is flowing out of there. And this is the one spot where it does hang up for a second. It is really tight up here. It's got just slight hang-ups before they go, but that's as big as it gets. And then it squirrels its way through, which again is really tight flow up here, so I don't think that's an issue. Now, this is the top section of curb, and it does not look like the bottom section. Looks like maybe our mold wasn't clean. We got some drag marks. Got some not as straight sections as down below. I can tell we are, you know, on a little bit of a side invert here, but there's lots of drag marks on the side, and it just seems like we were losing our mix maybe here, and tried to use it. You know, this first section looks really good, nice and smooth. Even so, it has a little bit of drag marks on the side, probably from the mold. But then we got into, looks like a hand build section right here for some reason in the middle, or maybe this was a difference between loads, I'm not sure. But that was the worst one. This one gets a little better, but again, we just still have those side drags through where I think the mold was catching. We need to make sure we're keeping our mold clean. If we see these drags, run some water and a brush on the inside of that and make sure there's nothing caked on there. And in between loads, we need to make sure it's really clean. And then if it's dragging, obviously we need to mag it and fix it. Asphalt back down once we got past that car right there. It does start to flow tight again, hard again. Did kind of seem to miss the invert to the basin here a little bit, which is fine. Still goes down and goes to the very next one, 40 feet down. But yeah, the water flows down good. Now here, looks like we had somebody step in it. You know, they had to step over the caution tape. So of course they'll step onto the curb, right? Because you gotta clear that caution tape. Oh, people are dumb. But this is the bottom section that runs down and kind of ties into actual curb and gutter. So flush with the concrete at the top, and it rolls down. Now, we didn't put any weep holes in here, and it looks to me like the water might make it to this edge and roll over the edge, but I see kind of a trap right here for water. So something we might need to think about also. So all in all, the lower section of curb, fantastic, great work. This upper section definitely has some issues. We might be able to, anyway, I'll talk to Kevin about it, but need to just make sure if we're losing our mix and we know we're not gonna be able to put down a good product, then we need to do something about it, scrap it, get more mix, you know. And again, I'll talk with Brendan and Kevin and see if there was a reason. There might be some information I don't have that led to that decision, but it's not terrible, but it's not great, especially since we put grade in down below. Asphalt wise, pretty awesome. Looks good, drives good. Nice job. That's it.